Elon is jumping back into the Epstein discourse. He had throughout the day and then late into the night a tirade about Trump. Before getting to that, you saw on screen there Trump literally scurrying away from questions about this after his, do you call it a love letter? I don't know, a love letter, a friend, like a bromance letter to Jeffrey Epstein in 2003?
Mr. President, why not go further than just unsealing this?
Mr. President, did you send that letter?
Mr. President, he's like, yes. Why on Epstein? Boom, gone. And you have this headline from the Daily Beast. Musk goes nuclear on Trump's Epstein crisis with all-night posting meltdown. A flurry of posts on Wednesday afternoon in which Musk asked why Ghislaine Maxwell is in federal prison for a hoax. Yeah, this is the bizarre part. Trump keeps calling the Epstein thing a hoax. Now, I guess if you were being charitable, he means anyone trying to connect him to it, but he'll just go, the whole Epstein thing's a hoax. And so it sounds like he's saying all of it, which then made that sarcastic post possible. He then says it's a cover up, obviously. It's not a hoax, from Elon. Asked in another post from a large right-wing account whether he thinks anyone will be held accountable, Musk responded, I sure hope so. This is a fundamental verdict on justice in America. I mean, yeah, there's some chance, right? There's some chance that they just don't have a bombshell against someone that they could bring to trial. I guess I'm open to that possibility, especially given that this many years have now passed, even not under Trump. Even if a few of the very worst Epstein clients were to be prosecuted, that would be something, but zero? Then he posts about the binders photo. This is brutal. If you're one of these influencers, this gets brought up so much. The MAGA influencers got the Epstein part 1. That's so, I know we've talked about this so much now that I'm kind of done rehashing, but I'll probably keep doing it, let's be honest. But that's such a crazy move from Bondi to be like part 1 and then it's nothing new and then you don't have a part 2. Like, that's crazy. I never thought of that. They came out and said, that's so insane. They came out and said, we have phase 1. All right, when's phase 2? No, that was it. Phase 1. Like, number 1. That's it. That's bonkers. On Wednesday, Musk shared an image of those binders and said, where's phase 2? Yeah, exactly. Where is it? And then he asked his Hitler-praising AI chatbot Grok, as the Daily Beast describes it, and he queried about whether the U.S. government holds electronic records of who visited Epstein's private island. Gronk answered, yes. Did I say Gronk? Not Gronk. Not Gronkowski. He then asked if the government has a list of all unaccompanied minors on those flights, along with a list of all adults on those flights, and Grok said yes. You get the point. He says this would necessarily mean the government must have the list of rapists, aka the Epstein client list, in their possession right effing now. And he keeps posting about it. At one point he said, wow, I can't believe Epstein killed himself before realizing it was all a hoax. So he's back discussing that. One thing that now, okay, so this really weird thing happened. Let me pull you remember this, of course. Jeffrey Epstein's friend sent him body letters for a 50th birthday album. One was from Donald Trump. Just if you missed our morning show coverage, come on. On the homepage, watch it. But this was the thing. Trump wrote voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything. Donald, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, yes, we do, come to think of it. Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that, Jeffrey? As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Donald, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. He also sketched out a woman, and there was descriptors of the specifics of how he sketched that. So you remember, I feel like I was, just to pat myself on the back for a second, I feel like I was so spot on with this a couple of days ago. I said, I think this is one of those moments where we should just fade into the wall. Just don't even try to control the conversation too much as non-MAGAs because they were eating each other alive over this. And there was real pressure on Trump. He doesn't care if I'm upset about it. He does care if his own supporters are. And so I was saying we should really just, like, to the mainstream news, just cover it, but kind of just be observing what's happening. Don't try to drive the narrative. That's not exactly the wording I use, but I made that point. This feels like a moment where I want to just slip under the desk because it's all going as good as it could be going in terms of MAGA turning on Trump without our help. And the Wall Street Journal is obviously not the left, but it was interesting to see that the second a mainstream outlet broke a news story about this, all of the supporters of Trump, not all of them, but a lot of them flipped around and went, all right, now shut up, Wall Street Journal. This is between us. And I was so confused because I woke up this morning. I hadn't seen that story because I was trying not to look at, X or the news last night, and saw the story and went, oh my gosh, it's going to revamp more MAGA anger towards Trump. Just a reminder of how close they were and that may be complicating his decisions on releasing the files. And instead, it was just one influencer after another going, what a ridiculous fake story. Trump doesn't even write like that. Come on. Which, how do you know? He wrote love letters with Kim Jong-un. How do you know he doesn't write like that? You've never gotten a love letter from him. Which puts you in good company, like Melania. But how would you know? But they've completely flipped. So now they're focusing on this. Brian Krasenstein saying Tulsi Gabbard is trying to distract from the Epstein mess by releasing a statement saying the Obama administration was involved in a treasonous conspiracy because an intel report below was uncovered. This is the intel report. And this is back December 8th, 2016. And it's on the subject of Russian interference in the election. And what the MAGA world is saying is that this proves Obama knew Russia wasn't trying to meddle and pushed forward with that conspiracy anyway. There's a big problem. It's not what it proves. But let's go through. The problem is that Obama never said anything other than this, and it was widely known by Democrats that there was no evidence that Russia was able to change the results of the election. Gabbard is trying to claim that Obama and his aides covered this intel report up when they didn't. Multiple reports and statements from the White House during Obama's presidency stated that there was no evidence that votes were changed or that Russia managed to tilt the results of the election. Russia did, however, hack into some voting systems that the GOP Senate found and as other intel reports found. This is all an effort to try to distract from Epstein by throwing red meat to the ignorant base. So the message here is we assess that Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure. Russian government-affiliated actors most likely compromised an Illinois voter registration database and unsuccessfully attempted the same in other states. Election monitoring and the type of systems targeted infrastructure not used to cast or count votes make it highly unlikely it would have resulted in altering any state's official vote result. Criminal activity also failed to reach the scale and sophistication necessary to change election outcomes. I might be wrong, but if you're out there saying, boom, this exposes that Obama knew he was lying, find me Obama saying that Russia hacked into voting machines and flipped votes such that Trump won. That was never the claim. Never the claim. There was email hacking discussion. There was social media operations from Russia trying to bolster the Trump campaign. I guess they're talking about some hack of a database, but not flipping votes like supposedly Dominion did, according to Release the Kraken person. What was her name? Powell? Something Powell? What was it? Powell. Oh, I can't remember the name, but one of Trump's lawyers. Definitely Mike Lindell believed the Dominion voting machine flipping conspiracy. That was not the claim. Now, maybe some person randomly said that, but that was not the claim. And no one claimed that Trump did not win the election other than Hillary in a statement that I criticized in using the word legitimate or not legitimate. But she conceded. Obama invited Trump to the White House. He welcomed him as the incoming president and wasn't saying that he won because votes were flipped. Now, we should be concerned when foreign nations try to engage in social media operations or try to hack things to help a candidate, obviously. But that doesn't mean that Trump didn't legitimately become the president, even with concerns around that. So this is literally not a bombshell, and they're trying to make it into one, which is a little bit strange. On the Epstein thing, Anna Paulina Luna said, please don't show this to the Wall Street Journal. It's a hand sketch. They might think I'm a sex trafficker. And it's Anna Paulina Luna drawing digitally a stick figure with notable, I guess you would say, breasts and yellow hair. I don't think that's the dunk you think it is. No one's saying that Trump was a sex trafficker because of sketching a woman. We're saying, hey, weird sexual letters written to Epstein. That's kind of weird, since we know who Epstein was. 3 years before his first arrest. Hey, suck on this, libs. Sorry. And on that note, that is today's show. I appreciate all of you so much. Podcast listeners, as always, if you can rate and review, I would greatly appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next time.